Hello everyone, this is your Suits and Vans Realtor man Marcus Smith, the founder and team leader of the Marcus Smith Real Estate team at Keller Williams Elite in Oklahoma City. Today's Smith Talk Tuesday episode is really geared towards buyers and competing in multiple offer situations. Just in summary, over the past year, COVID has definitely had a significant impact on the real estate market. What I mean by that is about a year or so ago is when interest rates dropped to, I would say, historic all-time lows. 2.5, 2.75% interest rates on 30-year mortgages were just basically unheard of. And so what that did when the interest rates dropped was that it created this influx of buyers. With more buyers in the market buying up houses, that meant that they were buying houses faster than sellers could actually list them, okay? Which meant that inventory or available homes had become low. And so what that means is that for sellers, that's a win for sellers, because it basically turned our market for the past year or so into really a seller's market that's been consistent. And when I say seller's market, what I mean by that is, if you've got a home, especially under $200,000, that's priced under $200,000, that's in great condition, in a good neighborhood, I can tell you that those homes are most likely going to receive multiple offers and go under contract within 12 to 24 hours. That's how crazy this market has been due to COVID and the interest rate. So I often find a lot of my buyers in the past year or so that are having to compete in multiple offer situations. And some of them are at a disadvantage because some of them may need closing costs to be covered by the seller. And in a multiple offer situation, I can tell you that automatically puts them at a huge disadvantage, because in a multiple offer situation, when you're competing against multiple buyers, you're wanting to submit the most aggressive offer possible. And I can tell you, representing several sellers over the past year or so, that sellers are receiving multiple offers over asking price, not having to pay any buyer closing costs, no home warranties, as is. I mean, it's really maximizing the best that a seller can get for listing their home over the past year or so. So here are some tips that I passed on to some of my buyers when they find themselves in a multiple offer situation. And these tips have helped some of them be able to compete and go under contract and have that seller, select their offer over the other offers. So tip number one is try to get pre-approved with a local lender. Now, all of these tips I definitely covered very briefly in like 60 seconds on one of my TikToks that I posted last week, but I'm going to kind of break each one down just in a little bit more detail, okay? But tip number one is try to get pre-approved with a local lender. Sellers prefer that buyers have a local lender as opposed to being pre-approved by some bank in another state that they've never heard of or their agents never heard of, because it could be problematic. I say problematic because when you're dealing with lenders out of state, sometimes there's a breakdown in communication between the loan officer, their processor, the underwriter. Trust me, and your real estate agent, hopefully it's me, but if you have another real estate agent or realtor, they can confirm what I'm saying is that it can become problematic with out-of-state lenders, because you're having different parties, loan officer, processor, underwriter, all of them may be in several different states, all trying to communicate, miscommunicate. There's a lack of communication, requests that they're, asking for the buyer to submit documents could be redundant, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, sellers prefer that you are pre-approved with a local lender that's a preferred lender by your real estate agent. Tip number two, when you're submitting an offer in a multiple offer situation, if you have the funds or the means to cover your closing costs, a house at $200,000, your remaining closing costs are going to be about $6,500. If you have the $6,500 to cover your closing costs, do not submit an offer asking the seller to cover those closing costs, because I can tell you that is going to place you at a disadvantage, because multiple offer situation, a lot of those offers that are coming in are not asking for any closing costs to be paid for by the seller, okay? Tip number three, don't ask for a home warranty. Home warranties range anywhere between $300 to $400. In the offer, sellers will basically pay for that or cover that. And I can tell you that I've seen multiple offer situations just on my end as a listing agent representing a seller where a buyer missed out on a multiple offer situation just based on asking for that home warranty or that additional $300 or $400. So a home warranty is definitely something that you as a buyer can purchase on your own after a closing, okay? Tip number 4, when you submit an offer, submit it as is with no repairs. Sellers love, not having to make any repairs on the home if they don't have to. And that's always challenging for sellers. So if a seller can get a contract or an offer that says as is, no repairs, then that's definitely ideal. They're definitely going to look at that offer and go, okay? Now, what does that mean for you? You are still entitled to conducting your inspections, your home inspection, termite inspection, and so forth. And at that time, after your home inspections, you can determine whether or not, okay, I know that we submitted as is. However, there's some pretty significant and major repairs that need to be done. I'm still going to request that the seller, make these repairs. The seller can always come back and say, absolutely not. You submitted the offer that said as is, no repairs, and so we're not going to do any repairs. And it's at that point in time where you as the buyer can determine or make the decision whether or not you just walk away and release from contract, get your earnest money back. Now, you're still out of pocket for the home inspection, termite inspection, which will probably run you anywhere between $300 to $400, but if the seller still will not do any repairs, even though you submitted an offer as is with no repairs, then you have an option to back out, release from contract, and get your earnest money. Tip number 5, close in 30 days. Sellers want to close as soon as, a lot of sellers, I can't say many or most, but a lot of sellers want to close as soon as possible. And there are buyers that I see, offers coming in to close at 45 days or 60 days. If you can close in 30 days or less, that's ideal. That's ideal for any seller, okay? Tip number 6, last tip, and I feel like this is one of the most important tips out of the 6 that I'm providing, is when you do submit an offer, submit the offer for a purchase price that's an odd number. Like on the example that I use in my TikTok is, let's say you're submitting an offer for a house that's $200,000. It's multiple offers. You want to be more aggressive, so submit an offer at $205,171. That $171 I've seen personally at times with some of my buyers, that extra $171 or whatever that odd number may be was enough to be the highest and best offer to be selected by the seller. So when most buyers, I can tell you, will submit offers that are just even. $200,000, $202,000, $205,000, but add a little bit on the extra of that to just make it odd. Make it stand out from some of the other offers that you're competing against, okay? And then at the end of the day, you have to realize too that sometimes paying over asking price, not asking for any closing costs, is enough to just get you the house. And that's a deal within itself, because there are a lot of buyers that are like, no, I want a good deal. I want to save, like $5,000 or $10,000. That's not the real estate market in which we live in, especially in the past year or so, okay? Actually, I need to add one more tip. Tip number 7. For those of you that find yourself needing closing costs and you know that you need to compete, my last, tip that I would give you is search for homes that have been on the market a minimum of 8 to 10 days, okay? Because I can tell you that homes that have been on the market that long are most likely not under multiple offer situations. And 2, those sellers are usually more motivated to pay some, if not all of your closing costs. And that tip, I can tell you, has helped a lot of my buyers in terms of sending me homes that they want to go see or submit offers on that had just hit the market that day or only been on the market a day or so, that I know is going to go into multiple offer situation. I tell them, look guys, we've submitted offers under multiple offer situation with these type of homes that have just hit the market, and we continue to lose because we're asking for closing costs where some of these other sellers, some of these other buyers submitting offers don't need closing costs. So let's shift to looking at homes or trying to find homes that have been on the market a little bit longer. Now, well, those homes have been on the market a little bit longer for a reason. Usually they're not as updated. They're not as what was I going to say? Updated in terms of amenities, features. They may need a little bit of work. Now, when I say little bit, maybe some paint here and there. You may want to swap out some of the kitchen appliances. You may want to swap out some of the flooring. I mean, when I say some upgrades, I mean, think about this. think about this in this perspective. Yes, some of these homes that have been on the market 8 to 10 days or longer may need a little bit more work, but oftentimes these homes are significantly less in purchase price than these homes that are just hit the market, that have been fully updated, that are going to go under multiple contracts, or go under multiple offers within 12 hours and then get under contract. So you kind of have to weigh your options here, but it's always great to know that you need an experienced real estate agent or realtor to be able to guide you through the process, and also to provide these recommendations that I'm providing you as well. So I hope this works for you. I wish you good luck, guys, because I'm telling you, I've dealt with more than a dozen buyers in this type of situation. So follow me for more tips on my YouTube channel, the Suits and Vans Realtor Man, and I will see you guys next week.